What's up, my dudes? Reflex on Xbox 360 is the greatest of all time. Now, this might kind of throw you off a little bit because I've made a video before that just said, MX versus ATV Reflex is the greatest of all time. But really, when I say that, what I'm talking about specifically is MX versus ATV Reflex on the Xbox 360, okay? And I know that's going to sound crazy to a lot of you guys, and a lot of you dudes don't understand this, and I've made some videos on this before, but it's so important. I can't even hardly put it into words how important it is for you to understand this whenever I go in there and talk about how, oh my God, Reflex physics are so good. Oh my God, Reflex was just on another level. Oh my God, Reflex, all skeet, right? Some of you dudes that are over there thinking like, what? Like, I've played Reflex on the PC, Spencer. Like, what are you really talking about, dog? Like, yeah, Reflex is cool and all, but like, what is all this super, like, GOAT, greatest of all time, Reflex, oh my God, physics? Like, you're not really understanding what I'm talking about. Listen, you're not understanding what I'm talking about because I'm talking about specifically the feeling of the physics on the 360 version of Reflex, okay? And I don't know why this is such a big thing, but it is. But the 360 version of Reflex is so different than the PC version, people just don't understand it. They literally don't get it. It's a whole entire, different game. It's a whole different physics feeling. It's so different. Like, this gameplay you're seeing right now, the way I'm scrubbing off of these jump phases and the way I'm snapping the bike to the ground, you literally can't even do that on the PC version of Reflex. You can't do it. You literally can't. Trust me. I've tried it. I've played it. I've seen a lot of footage of a lot of these PC Pro Reflex player, whatever you want to call them, right? You can't do the kind of movements on the PC version of Reflex that you can with the 360 version of Reflex. It's almost like Reflex was made for the Xbox 360. Like, it was made for the consoles, right? That's what it feels like to me from being a longtime 360 Reflex player and then playing it on PC and all that. Like, it just literally feels like they made the game for the Xbox 360, and then it was kind of like THQ Nordic took over MX versus ATV, and then they kind of worked into, the whole PC version of Reflex, kind of came out with that, and then all the custom tracks and all that. But somewhere along the lines down through there, it's changed the feeling of the game. They've changed the feeling of the game with that port somehow. That PC port has changed the feeling of Reflex. I'm telling you, bro. Some of you guys just don't understand that. A lot of you guys, you'll see my video praising Reflex and all that, and you've never even played it on the 360, and then you just go in there and buy it on the PC, and you're like, what the hell is this? Dog, you're not even understanding it. Like, it's literally to the point to where I would say if you don't have at least a solid week worth of playing the 360 version of Reflex, you can't even honestly give like an accurate opinion on Reflex because you don't even really, dog, I'm telling you, it's so bizarre because, yeah, they're very similar because they're the same game, obviously, but the 360 version of Reflex, to me personally, feels like it's got that extra little, 10 to 15% that just takes it to another level. And for whatever reason, the feeling of the bike on the PC version just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same when you're scrubbing. Doesn't feel the same when you're whipping. Doesn't feel the same when you're cornering. Feels a little bit different when you're jumping and leaning and I'm telling you, the whole feeling of the bike feels different. The whole physics of the game feels different on the PC version. I'm telling you, bro. And I've realized exactly what happens. Like I said, I got on there and started playing the PC version of Reflex, which I've played the PC version of Reflex over the past 4 years off and on, right? But I really got in there and played the PC version of Reflex for like a week straight. And it got to the point where it was like, I just got used to that. I just got used to that PC version of Reflex port, that different feeling Reflex feeling. You just kind of get used to it over time of playing the PC version of Reflex, and then you totally forget what the 360 version actually felt like and how much better it actually was. I think this has happened to a lot of people here. Listen to what I'm saying. So back in the day when Reflex first came out, this was back in 2009, okay? This was at a time where there wasn't such a big like PC gaming realm, okay? That was back in a time when most people played games on a console. You got to think that was back in like the Modern Warfare 2 era. Everybody had that shit on an Xbox 360, you know. People were playing on consoles. That was the main way to play games back then. So that's precisely what I'm saying in the sense of like, it would almost be like trying to compare, and I don't know if this is a direct comparison, but like obviously the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you know, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, all that crap was made for a console. So I would imagine that the PC versions of those games would be nowhere near the same experience. Obviously, you're playing with a mouse, so it's a lot different, but like just the game itself, you know, ports feel different on different games, but I feel like Reflex is one of those that it's actually quite drastic and a lot of people don't even understand it. But that's what happened to me though when I started playing the PC version of Reflex for like a week straight. It was like my brain just kind of started to get used to it, and then I just kind of forgot what that super amazing 360 Reflex version even was. It's like I totally forgot it. And then I just got back on the 360 version of Reflex like a day ago. And once I hopped back into it, it was a little weird at first, but then I was like, oh my God, bro. Like the 360 version, it's hard to explain it. It just has a whole nother like steering, turning, whipping, scrubbing, filling, physics, filling, controller input, direct input. I don't know how to explain it. Everything just feels so much more like, you know, directly your controller input is what you're seeing on the screen. Whereas the PC version of Reflex to me feels like there's this weird slight disconnect to it, right? And by the way, just letting you guys know, I'm playing with the exact same controllers, 360 controllers on PC that I'm playing on Reflex, so there's no like actual controller difference, right? It's not like I'm playing with an Xbox One controller on PC and then a 360 controller on the 360. That's not what I'm playing on. The exact same controller, exact same bike, exact same setup, the whole caboodle. You know, the whole like quicker turning, tuning crap, all that crap's set the same. It's all set the same. There's no differences, okay? But yet it still feels completely different. That's what I'm saying. It's a port difference. A lot of people do not understand that. They just think, oh, well, the PC version of Reflex, that's just going to feel just like any other version of Reflex. This is just like Reflex. You know, but it's not. Yes, I understand. A lot of people play on PC now, so that kind of opens up the doors to buy Reflex on PC. Most people don't have their 360 anymore. And plus, you get all the custom tracks with the PC version. Like, I understand it, okay? I do. But what my specific point I'm trying to get across in this video is, if you're one of those kind of people that you don't really agree with me or you don't really understand whenever I go in there and, you know, just absolutely praise Reflex and gush about it, it's the greatest arcade motocross game ever, it's so amazing, oh my God, the physics are unmatched, you're never going to be able to touch it, Reflex that, Reflex this, it's so amazing. If you're one of those kind of people that sort of doesn't understand what I'm saying with that, or you disagree with that, or you think Alive is better or whatever, or, you know, whatever the case may be, you need to go play the 360 version of Reflex for at least a week straight. At least a week straight. Every single night. Playing it, getting into the corners, learning how to scrub the bike down to the ground. Like, there is no other scrub system as what the 360 version of Reflex has. There is no other arcade motocross game that even comes close to that. It's insane. And even just the way you whip. I don't know, the whipping on the PC version of Reflex just feels so... It's so, like, so weird to me. Yeah, you can still throw whips on the the PC version of Reflex, but it's a different thing. It's an entirely different thing. And if you've really sat down and played the 360 version of Reflex, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. And same way with just like how the bike carries momentum through a corner and little shit like that, it just is so much better on the 360 version. It's like the game was made for an Xbox 360, and then they just ported it to the PC later on, and it kind of lost some of that reflex physics magic that it had on the 360. I'm telling you, it lost like 10%. That's about where I would put it. It lost that little 10% that makes Reflex like that, oh my God, just above and beyond, you can never touch it. It lost that 10%. So what that does is when people's only played the PC version of Reflex, they don't really get the full effect, right? They get this like, well, it's a pretty good arcade motocross game. It's pretty cool. Like, I can kind of see where everybody's coming from, but I don't really understand the people that are totally like, oh, Reflex, yeah, oh my God. Dog, if you play the 360 version of Reflex long enough, you will 100% understand what I am talking about when I say these things. You will understand. Trust me. Believe me, man. I mean, even with just like the way you pop off of the bike feels different to me on the PC version. I don't know why, but it does. Like, there's times where I'll be hitting some big jump and over jumping something on the PC version, and I'll be like, oh, like, you know, I'll pop off the bike or whatever, and it'll be like, what the hell? Like, there's no way I would have popped off like that on the 360 version of Reflex. Literally no way. Like I said, I have 10,000 plus hours into the 360 version of Reflex. I know when I'm going to pop off, when I'm not going to pop off, how the scrubbing feels, how the whipping feels, how the jumping feels, how the physics feel. I know it like the back of my fucking hand, dog. Okay? So when I go to the PC version, I can feel all those little differences that to the naked eye you might not even realize, but yet it really is affecting your experience of the game. It really is affecting the feeling you have of the game. Like, I'm telling you, man, in the perfect world, you know, you would love to have like the feeling of the 360 version of Reflex, but then all of the custom tracks and custom skins and custom gear and all that, and, you know, first-person mods and everything that the PC version of Reflex has, and be able to put all that together, yeah, that would be the perfect game ever. That would be amazing, but unfortunately, that's just not the way it is. Unfortunately, that's just not... They both have their advantages and disadvantages, right? Like, I still think there's a lot of value in going back and playing the 360 version of Reflex versus just only playing the PC version of Reflex from now and forever. Like, you're not even understanding the true magic of Reflex. That's what I'm saying. You're not even understanding the true feeling of Reflex if you don't go back and really sit down and play it on the 360 version. You got to do it, dog. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes. Reflex on 360, go, baby.